Hey there guys, it's Chaos back again. Unfortunately I did a previous recording and I forgot to record external audio, so there was no voiceover and no commentary. So I'm doing this from scratch again. I'm gonna call this the Mark III build for my double hammer barb. And today the differences that I want to show you is actually pretty significant. Even on my last video I was critting like barely a million. Now my crit's gone up to 1.7 with some caveats to it. So first and foremost, I just want to see or show some gear changes. And the biggest acquired item that I have is right now the Stone of Jordan that you see here. Now Stone of Jordan is a 4 effects ring. You're going to get elemental damage as the first line, a resource depending on the skill that this ring rolls with. So a Barb ring will always have, like, say 15 maximum fury with the Barb skill. So 15 is the maximum, 6% on elemental is also the maximum. Elite damage goes up to 30%. Mine's on 28, so it's a pretty good roll there. And of course, Hammer of the Ancients, the skill choice that I chose because double hammer barb hammer is one of the skills that I'm using. So -5 is the maximum you get there. This is a -4. I got this ring for 89 million, and easily these are going for 100 plus, and I had 135 and I lost 5 similar rings to outbids before I landed this one. Surprised that nobody bid after 89 million after this one as well. So I consider it a steal. And I also have a skull grasp. Skull grasps are going to have one random roll, and I chose critical hit chance as my random because crit chance is the key to keeping fury up. Mine still has like a 2%, crit chance more, so I wish I kind of had that. Increased attack speed, I believe, goes up to 7% on Skull Grasp. Once again, don't quote me on this. I don't spend too much time looking at the max rolls on these. You will get a random main stat, and of course strength. You want strength. It doesn't pair up with the skill, unlike, say, a Stone of Jordan. So you can get a Dex ring with Hammer of the Ancients, which is complete garbage. But I got a strength one, so this is a very good ring that I got for 20 million buyout. It was sniped from the auction house with, I think, 11 hours left, like one day 11 hours left. So armor, I think life on hit, attack speed, those are kind of fixed rolls. With the skill, that's a fixed roll, but that skill could be random, of course. And like I said, main stat is random depending on which one you're getting. The way to search for these rings, there are some tricks to it. So for Skull Grasp, you could look for it by name. Look for strength, crit chance, and that's what I use to filter. And then you can't search for Hammer of the Ancient, so you just have to go through every ring. But what I do is I sort by time, and let's say I just look for 5 hours. So one day 11 hours to one day 6 hours, and then 5 hours or 8 hours that I play, I would look again the same way, and I would just filter by time again and just look for 8 hours worth of rings, and I would have found every single ring with strength and crit chance that are Skull Grasp. So that's one easy way to filter for Skull Grasp if you guys are interested in hunting these and without having to filter through a whole bunch of crap. Stone of Jordan as well, but the trick to Stone of Jordan is don't look for it by name. Search for armor and then just leave it be. Do not search for armor and then search a sub category for rings. Just leave it for armor. What you want to search for is damage to elite. Put in the minimum that you want to search for percentage, and then also the resource of your choice. So if you're a demon hunter, search for discipline. If you are, barb, search for fury. So if you did 25%, let's say, and just fury, but leave the fury amount blank, it's gonna find you every single Stone of Jordan that's gonna be barb based. So then you just have to do the same thing, sort by time, and then go look for Hammer of the Ancients. That's what you're looking for. But be prepared to go broke if you're buying one of these. So I'm just gonna show the rest of my items really quick. Let's go through these. Nothing much has changed on my build as far as item wise. It's getting to the point now where my items are pretty much fixed. I could of course get the same items but different affixes maybe, or just improvement of what I currently have. And just to show you how good Stone of Jordan is, you guys will probably recognize my old ring. Look at the stat differences. Stone of Jordan does more damage than Union Mark, and it's 16k difference. It is all kinds of goody on Union Mark. I can still keep it around. I'm not reselling that ring, but Stone of Jordan is better than it. So if you guys wonder how good Stone of Jordans are, well, that's how much better it is. So I'm just gonna do a quick video here. I'm just gonna run through, in fact, all the towers, the non-random parts, and just to show you guys a little bit of gameplay. Now, I said I get up to 1.7 million. Of course, that's on elites only. Given that I have a Stone of Jordan, and also it requires, and I forgot to show this part. This is the important part. This guy first. I have Berserker Rage as a passive now, so Unforgiving is out, Berserker Rage is in. I can actually maintain full Fury pretty good with hammers now because my hammers are 12 Fury per swing, and Into the Fray is more than enough to replenish itself. What I would do usually is keep it topped off with, like, say, slams or be in between missing crits. If I crit, I usually get enough, Fury, and also IK keeps me topped off as well. But if I have a stint where I am missing crits, Leap and Charge will get me full, and then from there you can see, 1.8, 2.4 there. That's because they are Avenger Mob. That's actually a record. I've never seen 2.4 without the help of, like, say, a CM Wizard to boost the damage up. But I can get like 1.73. I think it's the maximum on a non-Avenger mob. This guy's powerful. Now, when you're playing this build, and there are Vortex as well, Avenger mobs, or not Avenger, Healthlink mobs are a pain, and they are reflect too. Oh my god. So Healthlink mobs actually hurt you enough that you don't want to be anywhere near them because you don't heal enough. Like, if you're heavily based on lifesteal, you want to use your slam. Slams hurt Healthlink mobs in a group, and it kills faster than you were to use hammer alone. So slam is actually made for killing Healthlink mobs together. And if they're reflect, I've fought reflect mobs that are health linked and succubi. Sometimes you will kill yourself faster than you heal, and there's just no way around that right now until Blizzard fixes the reflect damage effects. And my lifesteal is actually at 7-point-something%, so it's not shabby, but it's still health link and reflect are my major concerns right now. Like, they're the most contributing factor to my deaths. Yeah, of course you guys see that I still don't run with Wrath of Berserker. I don't find it necessary. 1.7 there, as you can see. So when I get my hammers rolling, you just see a lot of Fury come in, and then once the Fury is topped off, you see a lot of DPS. On MKIII, mobs don't stay alive long enough for me to really utilize that kind of initial power, except for when I'm, let's say, on Ubers. Crossbow. It's my first legendary drop of the day. It's probably my second hour to play, so not excited about that. I get so many crossbows. Not even funny. More fury. Yeah, there's not much to really talk about strategy-wise with this build, because in my other videos kind of show all of that. As this is the MKIII build and the Mark III build, it's really just what I have been progressing since the last video. But of course, having the skill change to Berserker Rage, that's a big significant change. A lot of people would not think about using that because builds now are so spender heavy that you rarely have full Fury, or nobody values full Fury because you're using Whirlwind and you can't keep it topped off like you do with my build. During, like, I think the first week or two of release, when I was still in Nightmare with my first run through with this guy, I actually did a video, and if you look at my YouTube history, you'll see it, of a build that was non-spender. It was just all generators, and I used Berserker Rage in that to full effect. It was pretty good at the time. The spenders were complete garbage. Now the tables have turned, and Berserker Rage kind of went away. But I hope this build is going to entice some people to try some different things. And this build in general, you can do Ubers, you can do farm runs. I mean, there's nothing that this build can't do. You don't have to, like, say, cater different skill set for Ubers or anything like that. It's just not necessary. Yeah, farm runs are just as efficient as well, so unlike some builds out there where people like to cater to different things, it's a one-size-fits-all with this one. Yeah, during stints where there are no enemies on screen, it kind of sucks, because without Unforgiving, I do lose the infinite running that I used to have. But once you get into a fight, it takes literally like a couple seconds to just gain all your fury back. Of course, Empowering Shrine are like the most fun shrine to get with this build. You just see a constant full fury, and your Berserker Rage is like on constant top off. And then if you include a Fleeing Shrine, so you are basically in Wrath of Berserker mode with that. And a Frenzy one, of course. Fire Chains are also the other big part of my deaths. If you're not careful while you're hammering things, Fire Chains can get you in a hit stun situation, along with, like, say, Molten or whatever you're fighting. You can get caught pretty badly. Just the Fire Chains will prevent you from breaking free a lot of times. And that's where other builds will have some advantages. Whirlwind by default doesn't get caught by Fire Chains like that, even without Wrath of Berserker, so that's a pretty good deal for that build. It's always been. I still play this way though. I just love Slam as an AoE. It's way too powerful for an AoE. This right here is, I love doing that. And that's 71. And I have a Hellfire Ring in my stash too that is really, really good, but I don't even use it. I just don't find efficiency to be my thing. I don't need to run MP0 and be bored. I like just romping through MP5 a lot. Because this is kind of like the level that I started. So it's a good gauge whenever I change something, just to look at my kill speed and see how much of an improvement it is. I can gauge it this way. And MP0 you really can't. EHP there is pointless. At least this way I know truly that, you know, if I've been improving or not. And that's just the way I prefer to play. I'm not saying everybody should. And if you are a lower leveled or lower geared person that wants to play this build, MP0 is a blast. You can slam through everything. On elites, you can still hammer a couple times and they die. Like if your crits are in the 500 to 600k range, like when I first started. MP1 and 0 is still a one-hit kill everything. So more than enough at 600k to kill things quickly there. I can do MP10. Just there's really no point. With my EHP, I'm reduced to slamming more than hammering, so the efficiency goes down to 2. So I stick with levels where I can hammer. I can Uber MP7 solo. I wouldn't call it easy, but I can. And purely because of Cole and Siegebreaker. Those are probably the two hardest Ubers you will fight. Skeleton King Magda's pretty hard too. Magda's flies hurt me a lot, and that's because I'm really low on resistance. I'm like 400. With 600, I think it's going to be times easier. It's near one hit KO with Magda's flies right now, despite the fact that I have 44k HP and, you know, pretty decent armor at 6500. Oh, legendary's coming rolling in. You can see, I mean, in MP5 things fall pretty quickly. The only reason why I don't go higher right now is because of swords. I don't do like MP8s and stuff like that because white mobs take a couple more hits, and every time I hit one more swing or something like that to kill white mobs, it lowers my efficiency a lot more. I try to aim for single hit KO with white mobs. The only problem with that is that right now with Stone of Jordan, my elite speeds are quicker. It's just that I lost a lot on like white mob damage, like maybe 100 or 200k. For them, that could mean a KO or not. So I'm just gonna kill Warren in this run here to keep it short. Oh, there we go. The Warden is a pretty good show of what the damage can be. There's a 1.6 earlier, 1.4, 1.3. So even when I'm off of Berserker Rage, my crits can go up to 1.3, which is not bad. And there's no way for me to get that before. So Berserker Rage is definitely a huge bonus, although it doesn't kick in all the time. For Ubers, it is a constant stream, so you know, on farm runs is not as important. I honestly might even throw in Unforgiving from time to time just to speed it up. If I'm not doing Act 3 where the density is a lot less, I will farm instead of Berserker Rage. I will put in Unforgiving just so I could sprint like an Oasis forever. But at the moment, I'm gonna keep everything the way that it is at this rate. So yeah, I'm collecting a whole bunch of legendaries. I'm gonna do a Ding Fest. I got rings and stuff too that I'm keeping around. So that's basically the build, and just to show you, this is the Hellfire ring that I'm not using at the moment. Yeah, like 24,000 DPS, and it does not do more than the Stone of Jordan. So it's a good ring, but you know, the Stone of Jordan's so OP, it's ridiculous. What else do I have? I got some Firewalkers. I'll give me like 9,000, but it doesn't have any resistance on there. I'm collecting a whole bunch of stuff, and just to show you guys too, I got like these guys here, and you see the one common factor is that they have control impairing effect reduced, and this one also has it as well, 13%. I played with these for a while, and CC effects literally like frozen lasts maybe half a second, and they're very powerful. And I throw in Juggernaut as well in the passive, and it's very hard to stop me with CCs when I have these things on. Of course, PvP, a lot of people are talking about that's going to be one of the most sought after effects. So I gotten these guys here at relatively decent prices. And in this Hellfire, of course, rolled with it. So I'm looking forward to just testing that out in PvP and see how that works, although I'm not focusing really on PvP. I also have these pair of pants here that gives me 15k DPS as a test item. Bought it for I think 5 mil. I usually keep a lot of test items around for, you know, different purposes to see what I can do, but at this moment I can't spare any more resistance loss. It's just too ridiculous already, and I feel like I am fighting myself a lot of times instead of the mobs. So a bunch of other crappy rings here. I'm not going to go through those. If you guys have any questions about the build, let me know, and drop me a line at the YouTube comments there, or look me up on Reddit. I'm always on there as WRXWRX, just like my YouTube videos account name. And I'll see you guys then. Thank you very much. Bye bye.